Welcome back to Fixing Furniture. Today I've got a list of tools I want to share with you that make furniture restoration work easier. There can be a lot of tools in your workshop, but there's just a few that make things easier, and I find when it's easier, I enjoy doing it more. I've got two lists that I'm going to share with you. One is for beginners, and the second, if you've got some experience, is some tools that you might not have used before, but you might want to get. Stick with me, I'll show you all the tools. As a furniture repair business, we're opening the doors to our workshop to show you the tools and techniques to repair furniture. The front rail here, you can see this has been broken off. We give you tips to make your repair projects easier. Let's get into the workshop and start fixing furniture. The list of tools I'm going to share with you today are based on my experience running a business doing furniture restoration, but also based on feedback I get from students that I teach about how to repair furniture. The number one tool for anybody getting into furniture repair and restoration is spreader clamps, or what's called trigger clamps, because of this mechanism here. As you pump this, it squeezes it together. They've got pads. The higher quality ones have good quality pads that allow them to stay on angles, and they also allow you to turn it into what's called a spreader. So I clip this on here, and now as I pump this, it forces pressure this way. These clamps generate about 300 pounds of pressure, and this spreading action is really good for taking furniture apart gently. If you try to force furniture apart, you'll end up breaking parts at some point. So a spreader clamp is an essential tool that you should have. I'd recommend having at least 6 36-inch clamps. That's a good starting point, and that's what I recommend to my students when they start one of our classes. And when you're taking apart furniture, sometimes it's difficult if you've got nails to take them out, or you might have loose dowels. And that's where fencing pliers come in. Fencing pliers allow you to get in tight corners, but they also allow you to grip a dowel really effectively to see if it's loose and determine whether it's something you should pull out and reglue or not. So fencing pliers are great. Another one is what's typically called a 5-in-1 tool. I've seen them recently in 10-in-1 and 15-in-1 tools. This is a painting tool, and it's got a really rigid blade on it, not like a putty knife, and it's got a wedge at the end. So this tapered end allows you to get into tight spots. It's really good for removing things like glue blocks and chairs where you need to get in there and just lever a little bit to wiggle it apart. So a 5-in-1 tool. And when it's time to put things together, of course you've got your clamps, but there are a few more things that make things easier. If you've got a split in wood and you're trying to work glue in there, just working it on the surface isn't good enough. What you need is a blunt tip syringe. So a blunt tip, I use a 22 gauge, that's the size of this, and a syringe. You just fill it with glue, put those together, and then you can inject that glue into that split and then clamp them together. It's an inexpensive tool, but a very handy tool when you've got split wood. Another great use for the blunt tip syringe is putting it on a small dispenser container, and I've got white vinegar in here. White vinegar will dissolve hide glue. So if you're working on an antique and having a hard time getting a joint apart that's loose, you can put white vinegar in there and it will dissolve that glue so you can take it apart. Another tool for glue ups is a painter's knife. So this has a very flexible blade, and this is good if you've got some veneer that's lifting. You can get it under there, you can get some glue in, spread it around, make sure you've got good glue coverage, and then you can clamp it. So another inexpensive tool, but a great one for gluing up. I've also got another tool here. If you're working on sheet cane and putting it in, this tool is an installation tool. It allows you to very gently insert the cane into the groove around the chair. It's not only easier and faster to put the cane in, but it's also safer than using a hammer and a wedge that could damage the piece of furniture. We make these in our workshop and sell them on our website, wouldn'titbenice.ca. I'll leave a link in the video description. Now, if you're experienced at restoring furniture, there are some tools here I would recommend. The first one is a Yankee screwdriver. So this is a screwdriver that will spin, and you can manually control that, but it's important because on a straight bit, if you were to put that into a driver and run it, you're going to strip that head very, very easily. This gives me control that I can pull it out, I can slowly pull it out, and then when I need to speed things up, I use this function both forwards and backwards. A special shout out to our viewer Thomas, who sent this to me. This was a piece that he had that he was no longer using, and he thought I would use it, and sure thing, this is something I will be using a fair bit. The next tool I've got here is an 8-inch C-clamp. I didn't have these until many years into doing furniture repair, but because it can reach so deep, it's great for making repairs, especially where you're working on panels that you need to make sure are glued together and sitting together. The other thing that I recommend too are these pads. They don't fit all clamps, but I found a set of them online that allow you to put them on here, and then you don't have to work with blocking. So a C-clamp and some clamp pads. The next one is a tool by Veritas. It's called a snug plug cutter. So if you've ever cut plugs for covering over screw holes, you'll find that the sides of them are straight. With a snug plug cutter, they're actually tapered. So when you put that plug in the hole, you end up getting a perfect fit every single time. You can make them out of any wood. You just need to put them in your drill press. I highly recommend it. If you're interested in learning furniture repair skills, check out our courses. Go to fixingfurniture.com to learn more. Another tool I've got is a self-centering drill bit. If you've never used one of these, they're fantastic for hardware. It's got a beveled end, and that centers on the hardware recess. And then once you drill, you push that drill bit in, it gives you a centered hole every single time. So all you need to do is center your hardware wherever you want it, and then drill the holes, and you get perfectly lined up holes every single time. It's a real time saver. Another one I've got here is a pneumatic stapler. So if you're working on upholstery at all, this is the most expensive tool I'm recommending here, but a pneumatic stapler can run you about $100, $120, but it saves you a lot of hand motion, a lot of muscle work, but they're really great to work with. I use one that's 22 gauge staples. Now, when you're working on upholstery, also staple removers, I've gone through a number of them over the years. The best one I've found is by C.S. Osborne. It's got a really great hard tip on it. I've broken one before, not this tool, but another one. So it's really a solid tool. It's more expensive than the rest that are out there, but well worth the price because it works so well. Another tool that I use for taking things apart is a mini cat's paw. So this is designed to dig into a piece of wood and pull out nails or staples. Mini cat's paw has saved me a number of times when trying to get nails out of difficult spots. So I recommend one of these. I've got a few different planes, but the one that's most unique and saves me some time is a shoulder plane. This is a plane where the blade goes right to the edge. It allows me to sneak up on things, not just on tenons that I'm working on, but when I'm doing repair work as well. The ability to get right to the edge of the piece with a blade that's controlled is really, really useful. Another tool that I found over the years that's helpful is a simple white pencil. So this is a fabric pencil. It's a mechanical pencil, but it's got white lead. So if you're working on wood like mahogany or walnut that's really dark, this is a great way to mark your pieces. I'll also share with you my favorite saw. This is a Dizuki saw, so it's a Japanese saw, cuts in a pull stroke, but allows me to make really fine cuts. If you've never used one of these before, I'm sure you'll be delighted by using one. It's great for trimming the legs on an uneven chair or table because it allows you to make such a fine cut, very different than any of the other saws that I own. So I hope this list has helped you understand some of the tools that might be unique that you haven't tried yet that you could use in your workshop. As I said, most of these are not expensive tools, and they can help you make your work much easier when you're working on furniture restoration. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Put your suggestions in the comments below if there's a tool that you absolutely love when you're working in your workshop. And I'll leave you with another video right here for you to enjoy. Thanks for watching Fixing Furniture.